Hi, it's Natalie from Together Apart Mediation. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit about the role of support people in the mediation process. In terms of the process itself, there's a couple of things that are important to know about support people. Firstly, they do fall under the confidentiality of the meeting, which means that just the same as the participating parties, they are not to speak or repeat anything that was said in the mediation space outside of that space. And every support person will be required to sign a confidentiality agreement prior to starting the mediation. Second thing that's good to know is that we will never start a mediation when there's someone in the room that one of the parties is not happy with being there, which means that we'll seek agreement before beginning the mediation on who the support people are that are attending. Sometimes it becomes a little negotiation in itself, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Thirdly, usually support people attend in a non-speaking role, which means they are in the room but they're not participating in the conversation. Now, the main support they can provide in that situation is to look out for their party and making sure they pick up when maybe the party needs a break, maybe they need a sip of water, maybe they just need a reassuring hand on their arm, whatever it is that helps the party better participate in the conversation. Whenever a support person asks for a break for their party, we will pause mediation and the party and the support person can step outside. They can, of course, have a conversation about how things are going at that time, but when coming back into the room, the support person will be back in their non-speaking role. When you are considering bringing a support person, there are some things that are worthwhile thinking about. Firstly, again, we will not start a mediation if the other party is not happy with having that person in the room. And sometimes those choices can be kind of obvious, particularly with maybe family members who have previously been involved in the conflict or who have previously been involved with the breakup of the relationship. Those are often the people that the other party may not be comfortable with having in the room. At the same time, it's also worth considering that anyone you bring into the space is naturally going to add their dynamic to the space, even if they are not speaking. So think about what is that person's relationship to the family, what is that person's relationship to the conflict. And I would always say that the best support person you could choose is someone who is not taking sides, but is supportive of you. What that means is someone who is close, knows you well, and can do those things like look out for when you need a break, when you need to take a breath, when you may need to step outside and go for a walk around the block, those sorts of things, but doesn't have their own vested interest in the outcome of the mediation. And the reason why I say that is because the goal in conflict and in mediation is to de-escalate the situation as much as possible, because for most people it's already escalated, there's already high emotion, and for most people it's not so helpful having someone along who kind of amplifies that emotion. You want to bring someone who can bring back the emotion so that you can return to a place from which you can have a constructive conversation with the other parent. Hopefully this helps in your decision whether to bring a support person to mediation and who to choose. If you have any further questions around that, as always, give me a call. I'm more than happy to answer.